blasting, billowing, bursting forth with the power of 10 billion butterfly sneezes.
This is Wine, Money, and Song. And if you want an insider's view of the wine industry, and if you're interested in learning about wines in different wine areas, please subscribe. So this episode, I'm going to fire away. I'm going to go over the best wines that I feel from each appellation, and I'm going to give you the prices, and I'm going to give you my recommendations of the best values and where you should look, where I'm looking. So let's get started. In Saint-Estèphe, the top wine are Coestanel and Montrose, but they're both very expensive. Other top wines are Calon Segur, and as far as values go, Mené, Capburn, and Tronquois. With Calon Segur, they're successful because they use 24% Merlot in it, and it helps soften the wine. So Saint-Estèphe, those are the wines. And Pauillac, now I'm not going to talk about first growths. I'm not going to talk about Cheval Blanc. I'm not going to talk about Ozone. I'm not going to talk about Lafleur. I'm not going to talk about Petrus and Ozone because those are otherworldly price wines, and if you want them, 9 out of 10 of those estates made great wines. So if you want to fork up and pay for it, you can. But I'm shooting for value here. And Pauillac, probably Lynch-Bages, and both Pichons. Pichon Lalande and Pichon Baron, top wines. Going down the line, wines that you want to look at, Grand Puy Lacoste, excellent. Ponty-Canet, top quality. Au Bataille, also, if you're looking for value. In Pauillac, outstanding wine. Going to Saint-Julien, a little further down, and to me, Saint-Julien is always very consistent in outstanding vintages. The top wines are Lescasse, but crazy price. Crazy price. Porphyre, Léoville Porphyre is which are excellent also. But if you're really looking for that sweet spot in Saint-Julien, what really stands out is Léoville Barton. Léoville Barton, incredible wine, very, very majestic, very classic, broad shoulders without being heavy. And then you have Langoville Barton, which is much more elegant, but still very, very special and priced great. Then you have some of my favorites, easily Branner de Cru, charming, classic Bordeaux claret style. And then you have Talbot. And Talbot, by the way, in the last 7 or 8 vintages, making top-notch wine. And 2022 is right there with that. Don't pass Talbot by. Then you have Lagrange, also very elegant wine. There's just classism there. And then you have Bechevel, which is a little pricey, but made very good 2022. Which I found delicious and well balanced. And Gloria is delicious as always. So you have a lot to choose from. From Saint-Julien. In Margaux, and as I said, I'm not talking about first growths. Of course, there's Palmer, which is very expensive, which is like $400 a bottle. And it's excellent, but do you want to spend $400 a bottle? That's up to you. And what I found to be excellent quality and excellent value is Rosanne Segla, which is owned by Chanel Group. Tremendous wine. and that's something you should look at. It's around 150 a bottle, but as compared to Palma for 400, come on. And Malisco St. Sewsbury is excellent, as is Brand Cantagnac. Those are wines that should be on your radar screen. And as far as Grave goes, and as I said, Grave is kind of underperforming. And I tasted Carbonier white and red, and I must say the white's delicious. I didn't like a lot of the other white Graves, but Carbonier was very good. The red was very good. Middle of the road, but really well balanced. But as far as the top wines, you have Le Mission Haut-Brion, which was expensive, and you have Le Carme Haut-Brion, and Le Carme Haut-Brion's about 200 a bottle, and Le Carme is very different than other wines because it has a lot of old line Cabernet Franc, and it's a very dark style. It's made with whole clusters, and it's just very different. And you have to try it yourself whether you like that style or not. But everyone's going gaga for 2022 Le Carme. The one that stands out to me for value is Domaine de Chevalier. Top-notch, outstanding, maybe a great Domaine de Chevalier. And few in the background. Olivier tasted very good. I was surprised how good and moderate price that was. Le Verive Haut-Brion also is very good. In the Saint-Emilions, the top wines were Figeac, Canon, Trolong, Mondot, and they're not cheap wines. You know, they're more expensive wines, but they're excellent to great wines. The wines to look out for, value-wise, are La Roque, which I know Attorney Sam likes a lot, and I kind of agree with him that this is a chateau you should look for. It's a very large chateau with large production, and the price is very reasonable. Tasting the Beau Séjour Biscot, that's top notch. Excellent to great wine. And La Gaffière, Canon La Gaffière, wonderful wines, and under $100. A wine of great value is Tour Saint Christophe, which will come in about $40. Be a little careful with that one. It's 15% alcohol, but it's very ripe and delicious, and for that money, great value. Going to Pomerol, and now Pomerol is very expensive, very hard to find, and the top Pomerols, and we're not talking Lafleur, we're not talking Petrus, Les Conseillants, L'Evangile, and I'm not going to mention Lafleur and Petrus and all the other expensive ones. Three inexpensive Pomerols, which is hard to find, would be De Salle, Le Grave Pomerol, and Clos de Clocher from Pomerol. And if you can find those wines, they're very, very good value. And lastly, I didn't mention Haut-Medoc, and the two best ones in Haut-Medoc, in my opinion, as far as value, is La Lagune and Cantamaril, and you can't go wrong with Cantamaril. Now let's talk about prices. All right, Coestanel, Coestanel is like $275, and Montrose. Where's Montrose? Montrose is around $250. Calon Segura is the one you should go after. Great value. And as I said, Maine, in Pauillac, definitely Grand Puy Lacoste, which was like $90, and Ponte Canet, which was a little over 100. Great wines. Lynch Bage, which is very powerful, incredibly powerful, and an outstanding wine. The price of Lynch is about $150, $175. And then you have the Pichons, which are over $200, Pichon Lalande and Pichon Baron. And as I said, the value there is the Grand Puy Lacoste and the Ponte Canet. Saint Julien, Léoville Lascasse made a great wine, and Poiferer is there, and Léoville Barton too. Made some outstanding wines. But for the price, the Léoville Barton is top notch, and Talbot, Lagrange, and Bronner. Go for those wines. Those are the wines you should be looking for value. In Margaux, Parma made a great wine, but it's $400. Rosanne Seglar at $150, half the price. And Malisco, outstanding Margaux. Then we go to Grave, and you have Le Mission Aubryon. And Le Mission's price is like $375. Le Carme Aubryon, which is a very unique wine, which I consider it's an anomaly, because no one makes wine like they do. It's their own thing. Very old Cabernet Franc vines and whole cluster fermentation, and very, very different. And that's around $200 a bottle. So what stands out is Domaine de Chevalier and Olivier, and Aubailly is very good also, but pricey. Then we go to Saint-Emilion, Figeac, Canon, and Trolong Mandu, as I said, are the top wines, but they're expensive. But Canon might give Cheval Blanc a run for its money. And Canon is like $175 or $200. But that's less than half the price than Figeac. It's up to you. But Larocque, Beauséjour, Biscot, and the Lagafayère, Canon Lagafayère, Tour Saint Christophe, go there. And with Pomerol, discounting the very small, Trot Noir, discounting Petrus and Lafleur and Le Pen, Les Conseillants, L'Avangile, and Lafleur. Petrus made some excellent to great wines, but if you want to pay up, they're close to $300. Trot Noir's $400. For value, De Salle, Le Grave Pomerol, and Clos de Clocher. And au Medoc, I said La Lagune, and Cantamarel. Now, a final comment about the 2022s. The 2022s are a vintage that's never happened before. It's never been made that way. So there's going to be some great wines. But personally, the Bordelais made a major mistake raising the prices 25 to 35% over the 2021s. They're much better. They're a much more special vintage than 2021s were. But the market was not in a good receiving mood for those prices. And are there going to be some great wines? Yes. Are we sure we know how these wines are going to age? No, we're not. And remember, they're very high in alcohol. Some of the wines are 15. Most of the wines are 14.5. But they didn't taste hot. And the acid levels seem very good. But we're going to have to follow along. And I have a sneaky feeling that if you're a lover of classic Bordeaux, you may like the 2023s more than you like the 2022s. They're not going to be as spectacular as some of the 2022s, but they're going to have elegance. They're going to have crisp acidities. They're going to be and they're going to be balanced, and they're not going to be over the top in alcohol. And remember, the 2022s are very alcoholic. And as I said, I didn't taste them to be out of balance, and most of the wines are not over extracted. Most of the wines. So you have a decision to make. Go with those top values I gave you with. I feel very confident, but tread lightly with these 2022s because I don't know how they're going to age, and I don't think anyone knows. And the 2023s, if the tariffs don't kick in, they're going to be much better values and much more classic wines. So tread lightly with the 2022s, no matter. There's going to be some great wines, but they're not going to be classic. They're not going to be your grandfather's Bordeaux. They're going to be unique, and they're going to stand out on their own, like the 28s did, like the 47s did, and like the 82s did. So that's my synopsis of the 2022 Bordeaux vintage. Good luck bargain hunting and value hunting.